Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FCS Live here on YouTube. For today's Futsal Champion Series match, Ginga FS from Cincinnati traveling all the way to Canton, Michigan to take on Mitwest FC. I'm Jared Kleppel along with the FCS Live production team alongside you in today's match. We just talked a little bit about the situation Mitwest is in. This could possibly be their one chance at a positive result in the standings all year. From the Ginga side, this is, man, you got to fight with everything that you got to win this game and get a result, because if you don't, you're certainly out of the playoffs, almost certainly. That is where Ginga FS is coming into today. You got to fight with everything that you got. Obviously, they're playing this Mitwest FC team in this game today, where we know that Mitwest is winless. Ginga has had trouble on the road, and we really do think that the odds are going to be defied today. Either Ginga's going to get a win on the road, or Mitwest is going to get a win in their W column, or maybe we'll see a tie, which I also would say would be odds being defiled based on how Mitwest season has gone so far. Let's think a little bit about Ginga particularly right now as we get ready for kickoff. As I mentioned, they're in a position right now where they really need to win this game. With how the playoff picture is, which we're going to get to in a second, Ginga really need to come away with a win today to have any kind of shot at making the playoffs. A tie would be okay, but it would leave a lot up in the air. But a win would almost certainly put them through. I think that it might actually for sure put them through. Take a look at their lineup and who they're bringing today. They are very light. They're traveling very light. Only 9 players that they're bringing. So we have 2 lines and 1 goalkeeper, and some notable absences. We're not going to see Riley McKenzie. He's been a solid fixo for them. We're not going to see Kokai Minami as well, another fixo. Giuliani Campos, Dima Sherabina. Of course, we haven't seen Nacho Torres in a while, and Moses Leon won't be there as well. But several players that we often will see, even in the traveling rosters, not around for the Ginga team today. Unfortunately, not there. So they are going to be battling. They're going to be battling fitness, fatigue, with really only 2 lines and a goalkeeper. They do have, of course, Kosuke Tamisawa starting in goal. Wes Rasdorf, we've seen him in goal before, so he's probably technically their backup there for today. So really, from their perspective, it's because of where we are in the playoff picture and the standings, they really need to get a result. Let's actually take a quick look at the standings, and then we'll go into the playoff picture after that, just to see a little bit more of what's at stake in today's match. So you can see right now, Grand Rapids Ole and Midwest United at the top of the table. Ole with 22 points, United with 17. Of course, Ole without a loss yet. And the 2 teams playing today all the way down at the bottom of the standings. We have Ginga FS with 12 points in 9 matches played, and Mitwest with 0 points in 7 matches played. And you can see the goal differential atrocious for Mitwest FC, to say the least, and for Ginga FS not in a good position. So remember this and keep an eye on the Detroit Imperial, Atlanta City, Ginga FS, right? 13, 12, 12. The top 2 teams, Ole and Midwest United, have already clinched a playoff spot, and then these 3 teams are going to be vying for the last position. So with that being said, let's take a look at a closer look at the playoff picture for today's where we're at today. So as we mentioned, Grand Rapids Ole as well as Midwest United, they have both clinched the top 2 seeds. Ole have now clinched the number 1 seed, and Midwest United have clinched home court. So the top 2 seeds are for sure locked in. The 2 semifinals will be played in Grand Rapids at these 2 respective clubs. However, the next 2 teams to make the playoffs, to round up that top 4, that is what is in question. So you look at the graphic right there, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the 3 teams that are vying for this final 2 spots. Detroit Imperial have played all 10 of their games. They're currently sitting at 13 points with a tie against Midwest United yesterday, which, by the way, that game ended in such a dramatic fashion. If you only have a few minutes to watch to watch that game, go back and watch maybe the last, 7 minutes of the game. It was pretty incredible how it ended. Lots of goals, both sides, and Midwest United actually, coming back to tie that one 8-8. But because of that, now Ginga's in a place where if they lose, they are almost certainly out of the picture. Let's take a look at the playoff picture one more time, just so I can show you this and you can see it clearly. On the right side there, Lansing is in with a Ginga loss. Asterisk there because of the goal differential. If Ginga loses, they will be tied in points with Lansing City. But Lansing City currently has a plus 34 for goal differential lead on them. So the only way Ginga gets in with a loss is if Lansing City loses to Grand Rapids Olay by 35 or more goals, which I can't even imagine a world where that happens. I mean, Lansing City would basically have to put nobody on the court. So if Ginga loses today, they are out, essentially. With a tie or a loss, Detroit Imperial do get in because they have the goal differential advantage on Ginga. So with a tie or a loss, Lansing City is going to have to at least tie on Saturday to kick Ginga out. With a loss, Lansing City and Detroit Imperial are going through. So if you're an Imperial fan, you're rooting for a tie or a loss today by Ginga. If you're Lansing City, you want to see Ginga lose this one. However, you still have your own destiny in your hands with a home game against Grand Rapids Olay this coming Saturday. That one's going to be a very interesting one. But before that one, we have a game today. Mitwest FC is hosting Ginga FS. It is time for the intro. Let's roll it.
It's Game 27 of the Futsal Champions Series. In the final match of the weekend, Mitwest plays on a different home court venue as they host Ginga at Canton Sala. These two teams have both practiced and played on small courts before, and all season long we've seen the impact that these small venues have on a match. Mitwest has not had the season they'd hoped for and will take the court for the second time this weekend in pursuit of their first points of the year. Now out of the playoff race, it's all about pride for this Mitwest side. The new faces of the team will be looking to have a hand in a culture change and turn fortunes around. Ginga traveled to Detroit with a rabid away fan base in what is a must-win situation to clinch the final playoff spot. In his final match before returning back to Japan, goalkeeper Kosuke Tomisawa will be hoping to end his stint in Cincinnati on a high note. Will Ginga make their playoffs, or will Mitwest pull off an upset to ruin their season? Tune in as Mitwest hosts Ginga right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Canton, Michigan for today's Futsal Champions Series match. Mitwest FC welcomes Ginga FS to Canton, Michigan for the FCS game today. I'm Jared Kleppel along with the whole FCS live production team, bringing this game right alongside of you, coming to you from the studio in Lansing. This one is between the bottom two teams of the standings. However, we do have some pretty big implications on both sides for today. For Ginga, it's about the playoffs. If they win, they have a very solid chance at making it into the playoffs. In fact, if they win, they are in. They are 100% in if they win because they will have the advantage over Detroit Imperial by 2 points, and the best that Lansing City can do is get 3 points and tie them. So if they win, they're in. With a tie or a loss, most likely they are out. On the Mitwest side, it's a little bit of a different story. They're 0-7 right now, a negative 87 goal differential across 7 games. The least they've lost by is 9 goals. That's not criticism, that's just the truth. But today is the match, I think, is their best shot at getting a result at a competitive game, competitive result in the Futsal Champions Series. They're facing a Ginga team that is not only traveling very light, but has been struggling on the road and has yet to get a win this season. Are we going to see Ginga get their first road win? Or are we going to say Mitwest? Are we going to see Mitwest do something that no one thought they could do during their first outings of this season, and maybe even now most people may not think they can? Are we going to see them come away with a victory? Or will we see another draw as we did last night when Mitwest and Detroit Imperial played on this court? That's the question we're going to be looking at today. Let's take a quick look at our standings as we get ready for kickoff, just to show you where we're at right now. Ginga FS and Mitwest, the two teams on the bottom. Mitwest has been eliminated from the playoffs, so they are playing really just to try to have a competitive result in the FCS. They have yet to have won a game that they have lost by less than 9. So if they can keep that less, than that, I think, really talking with Coach Francois, he's all about trying to improve their team. So any kind of improvement, any kind of, measure you can use to see improvement, that's good for them. But they do, in my opinion, I think they have a shot today. They're playing against a Ginga FS team, as you can see, the second to last on the standings there with 12 points. They are fighting for the last playoff spot. However, they only have 9 players that they've brought today, and they have yet to get a result on the road. Both teams lining up for kickoff here. They have the coin toss happening between the captains. Looks like we have Luis Mendoza and Roger Straz out there doing the captain's work of the coin toss. And we'll take this time to take a look at our starting lineups for the visitors, Ginga FS. In goal, Kosuke Tamisawa. This is going to be his final game in the FCS, as we have heard from Satoru Matsushima that he will be traveling back to his hometown in Japan after this game. So if they make the playoffs, they will be without their goalkeeper, Kosuke Tamisawa. The other 4, Shota Takabatake, Nick Rumisek, Taiki Morimoto, Roger Straz. Of course, Roger has been Satoru's right-hand man all season long. But I'm circling number 8, Shota Takabatake, the pivot. Young pivot, new grad recently from college, to have a big impact on the game today. For Mitwest, probably the biggest thing, goalkeeper is not Josh Postuma today. They're going to be bringing in Aiden Hanchett for the first time this season. He's a former Lansing City Academy and men's team player. And the other 4 players, we have Luis Mendoza, Steven Santiago, Zach Landers, and Alvaro Garcia. And that's how the Detroit team in red is going to start. Luis Mendoza there standing over the ball, getting ready for the first whistle. And there it is. We're off and away for today's Futsal Champion Series match. Mitwest hosting Ginga FS. We see in the white there, Aiden Hanchett in goal for Mitwest FC. We have not seen him for any team this season. We usually see Josh Postuma in goal for Mitwest FC. So that'll be an interesting player to look out for to see how he does, not only in his goalkeeping and saves, but his distribution as we see him here go long up the floor. This short blue court and very narrow. Probably the smallest in the FCS outside of Ginga does have a small court they've played a couple of games on when they've had some scheduling conflicts. But this court here at, Kojima, as we're talking about the small court and the transition play, they had a 2v1, could not finish. Ryosuke Kojima, number 26, I'm sure, is going to wish he had that chance back. Now here's Mitwest with an opportunity in the attacking zone. They're going to give it up quickly, and that's something you're going to notice about the action today. On this small court, things happen very quickly. Transitions happen very quickly. And it really is an entirely different game than the games that you watch on a full-size court. Back post. Wow, Rumisek is denied by Aiden Hanchett as he gets his first save of the match. Actually, no, his second save. Last time we saw Ginga FS on this court, first game in the season. They travel out to meet Detroit Imperial right here in Canton, Michigan. They did lose that one. It was actually close for some of the game. They kind of went down. I believe they came back for part of the match, and then Imperial was able to finish them off. And we have not seen Mitwest play on this small of a court yet this year. They've played a lot of their home games, so far all their home games at Lansing City Arena, which is a much bigger court, 40 meters by 20 meters, and this one quite a bit smaller than that. First time out of the match with really just a minute and a half off the clock. Mitwest FC, Coach Francois going to call the first time out of the match. Great time to let you know about our sponsor for today's match, Ally Marketing. If you're looking for a teammate in the marketing space, Ally Marketing might be the right choice for you. Check out allymarketing.us, that's ALLY marketing.us for more information. Ally Marketing is the official marketing partner of the FCS. Ally Marketing, let's be friends. A curious thing to see a timeout this early in the match. You got to wonder where Coach Francois' head is at for Mitwest. Of course, on the other side, Satoru Matsushima, coach player number 2. We have not seen him on the court yet today, but really not even long enough to see a rotation of players, any kind of substitution, and we're already seeing a timeout. Maybe Coach Francois just saw something that he really thought needed that adjustment, and in all likelihood has to do with either what Ginga was bringing and their players and maybe their style, as well as also very likely could have to do with playing on this size of court, as it is much different than any court that they have played on thus far. Here is Satoru Matsushima for Ginga, going to be putting into play with Kosuke Tamisawa, who goes directly up the court. Ginga do retain possession. Takabatake dribbling around, looking for a way forward. Finds number 22, Mario Magliano. Haven't seen him in a Ginga lineup for a couple of games. He's going to take the corner for Ginga. Player coach Satoru Matsushima here right in front of your screen. Number 2 receives the corner. Goes to Takabatake, and he was trying to work with Straz on the other side, but to no avail. Here's Mitwest trying to play out of the back, deep in their own territory. Landers working well with his team to get up the court. Sergio Barrientos was chasing that one down, but he doesn't get there quite in time. So now Ginga will look to build from the back. A good turn there up the sideline for Magliano. If you've tuned into any of the other broadcasts that we've had here at Canton, at Football Sala in Canton, Michigan, we've talked a lot about the court size during the broadcast, and it is going to be much of the same today, just because when you play on a court this small, it really does impact the game. And if you're not used to seeing what a normal size court is, it may not be something that is easily recognizable. But particularly the width is very narrow, and if you think about it, every meter that you eliminate from the width, you eliminate so much court space, because it's the whole length of the court multiplied by however many meters it is more narrow. So you're just losing a ton of square footage. I remember doing a calculation on this just for all the technical geeks out there that want to know. And I believe this court is around somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 square feet less than Lansing City Arena's 20 by 40 meter court. So just to give you an idea of the square footage, that really makes a difference in the game. Both teams going to be dealing with that. And one of the biggest things to look for is how do they build out of the back? As you see Hanchett here, Aiden Hanchett, goalkeeper for Mitwest today, try his luck on a shot wide there. But in a situation like this where we have Ginga, are they going to build out of the back? Are they going to go direct up the floor? Because it is just that much more challenging to try to build out of the back with much less real estate to work with. Here's Wes Rasdorf for Ginga. Has a little space on the near side. Faced up by Mendoza. Square ball to the other side to Rumisek. Oh, good play. Can Kojima finish? No, he's met by Hanchett. And Kojima, again, off the mark near the goal. It's his second shot of the day. Now we see Mitwest building out. Steven Santiago working with number 5, Salman Amutawa. Zach Landers as well, number 8 there. What will Hanchett do with this one? He goes pretty far up the court, but off the mark, looking to connect with Louis Mendoza. The referee has already started to count here, 2 seconds away. Pretty slow counting there on the back end. Maybe realized he started counting a little too soon and needed to slow it down just a bit. Here is Ginga. Nick Rumisek dicing through defenders, left-footed strike. Blocked out for a Ginga corner. Immediately taken right across goal. Hanchett gets his hands on it. Oh, Nick Rumisek was waiting for that one. Tommy Sala now coming up. Oh, Matsushima with a left-footed strike, looking for the side net. Denied by Aiden Hanchett. His third stop of the match. Let's see that again. Left-footed strike near the top of the arc. Great kick save from Hanchett. And that's his first real test of the match. Comes out with a success. So if you're a Mitwest fan, that is something that you love to see. Normal goalkeeper Josh Pashma, who has been solid, so solid for the team in red this season. Missing today's match, and this one almost an own goal, but Hanchett there. Well done from him so far to keep the ball out of the back of the net. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kosuke Tamisawa in goal for Ginga is yet to face a shot that he's had to save. Number 4, Nathan Hahn, currently with it. Youngest player in the FCS, just 13 years of age, playing against grown men out here. Oh, Tamisawa has to come out. Steven Santiago was denied by Kojima after Tamisawa decided he needed to come out to deny him at the beginning. And good play from Santiago to get by Tamisawa. Unfortunately for Mitwest, their first dangerous chance does not result in any effect on the scoreboard. Double team by Mitwest on the far side. Takabatake surrounded by 2 red shirts. Ginga are going to retain possession. Turnover, Mitwest the other way. Santiago was waiting for the square ball, but so was Shota Takabatake, and he gets fouled. Santiago with a good show of sportsmanship there. Actually disagreed with the call, but it seemed like a foul to me. That's the first of the match. Took us 5 minutes to get our first foul. Left-footed strike, booming strike. You can hear it echo in this really warehouse facility. That was Takabatake. His second shot of the night. Oh, Kojima now has a chance. It takes a deflection. Hanchett's there. The follow-up, Hanchett there once again. He's coming up big. 6 saves on the night for him. Scratch that, 7 for Hanchett. Tamisawa up the court. Had Takabatake. Mishandled now. Mitwest with their own chance. And they go on the scoreboard first through the foot of Nathan Hahn. That began with this aggressive play from Hanchett. Great pass from Zach Landers, finding Nathan Hahn. And he had a near post strike to put Mitwest up 1-0.